Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, April 9th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right here will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But like to these videos when the market is still open, because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, we are looking at NAOV, quite the eventful day all over the place. And now heading into Wednesday, a pretty well-defined area. So as I draw this trend line, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply this is a great, discovery or special talent. I think a lot of people have done what I'm going to do right here, and that is to draw that trend line in a place right there. And I make all those comments because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So while there are no guarantees in the market, is it valid? Is it reasonable to think that if the price consolidates out, comes up here and breaks through that level, that break right there could create additional buying pressure? Not guaranteed to happen, but certainly a plausible scenario. So keep your eye on that level. And then from the other interesting area right there, let me change that to green to represent support. This helps complete the pattern. So let's change this to the same color, hopefully easier to see. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the big explosive move right there. And then for you golfers out there, put the golf hole right there. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So no guarantees, as I've said. But if the price were to come up here and break through the top part of the pattern, I don't think anybody would be shocked by some upwards momentum. So if you like bull pennants, you like volatile stocks, here you go. Next one, SXTP. And we have ourselves another interesting pattern here. So what I find most interesting is that the fact that the price did make a big move and then it started to come back down. And when prices come down, it becomes a little bit of, is this a gap and trap pumping up? But we got the answer here, and it doesn't seem so, because not only did the price level out, it actually put in a slight upwards movement here. So the price is now starting to make progress in the upwards direction. So keep an eye on that. And then on the flip side of things, as far as the pattern is concerned, key area of resistance right about there, $3.74. And then when you combine these together, so again, same color, support, resistance, we have what I would consider an ascending triangle pattern, which is again bullish. Doesn't mean the price for sure going to go up, but would it be shocking if the price came up here, broke through there? Would that break? Guarantee nothing. It doesn't. However, it does make it more than valid to think additional buying pressure could very well, show back up again. So if it can break there on high volume, does it go up to those highs? Does it even push higher through those? Definitely an interesting scenario. So if you like this price range, you like ascending triangles, keep an eye on it. Next one here, SOXL. Talked about this in yesterday's video, and if you did watch it, then a lot of this should make sense. Namely, yes, the price did actually get up above that resistance line right there. But as I talked about in that video, you need to be careful because not that far away was the purple line up there, the 50-period moving average, which could very realistically act as resistance. And while the price never did hit it today, that's essentially what happened. Got up in this area, and then it rolled back over. And not only did it roll back over to this area here at 825, which was very important, it has just continued to roll over. So today has been what started off very nice, just not an attractive day at all. So first key update comes into play just based on foundational rules, which state when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So moving forward, the key level to now watch, if there is any sort of attempted turnaround, going to be right there at $8.25. And then in terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate it. Just a question of, well, where did the bleeding stop last time? And the bleeding stopped back on Monday right there at $7.25. So that'll be the main battleground to watch. But if the price comes down here and then it just pushes down through there, at that point, it's at new lows, and that could open up even more bleeding and downside pressure. But yeah, overall today, great start, terrible finish. Next one here, TSLL, looks very similar to what I just talked about. So I'm going to go through this one quicker. But the price, yes, it did get up above that trend line. But as I talked about previously, you'd want to watch that purple line there. And then this thing once again rolled all the way back over. I mean, almost in a mirror image of SOXL, but this is not SOXL. So we'll get rid of that. And as I just talked about on SOXL, when levels of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance. So if this thing does try to curl back upwards, first key battleground to watch going to be at the 690 mark. And then in terms of next levels of support, as we just talked about, well, where did the bleeding stop last time? The price was down here, so back on Monday, that bleeding stopped essentially down there at the $6.30 mark. So keep an eye on that. But as I said for SOXL, same thing here for TSLL. Nice, solid start to the day, but a terrible end. Next one here, NVDA, and yes, a rough day, but not as rough as these other ones, because think about SOXL and TSLL. What did those ones do price-wise relative to that green line on those ones? Well, those ones had all not only gone down to that green line, but broken down below there, and then I had to change the green line to red. But that's not the case here. The price not only did not test this green line, which in this situation is 91.80, it's still nicely up above it. Now, moving forward, if the price does come down, then you definitely want to see it hold, because if it can hold and curl back upwards, then you can at least still make the argument that you have this set of lows here, you have that low right there, and if you envision those as stair steps, well, at least you still have stair steps progressing in the upwards direction. So yes, I'm not saying that NVDA had a fantastic day. I'm just saying relative to those other ones, it's at least still staying up above that green line right there. In terms of levels of resistance moving into the next several days, keep an eye on that dynamic right there as the key resistance trend line. But like I said, all things considered, a better day than some of these other ones, but yeah, still a rough day. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here later on in the week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description area you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to sign up. So like I said, if you're enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, ticker symbol ZVSA, and this thing was looking, I'm not going to say dead because it was still always nicely above these moving averages here, but it had, fallen down and volume had dropped out, quite a bit. But all of a sudden, last 30 minutes, volume is coming back and a very, very impressive movement. And that's why I like to do these when the market's still open, because we get to witness this movement here. So yes, definitely very, very interesting final 30 minutes, which makes it, a very unique situation, because now we get to start to ask ourselves some fun questions. So the question here being, is this the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. Oh, wow. In order to ask that question, something first needs to happen, because it makes no sense to say, is this the start of something bigger, when nothing has even happened in the first place. But something has happened here, and that is, as we're witnessing, this is having a very impressive last 30 minutes. So the next big question mark is, okay, is the price going to get back up to this $1.64 mark, which rejected it back earlier on in the day right here? And if it can push up through there, especially if it's a high volume break, then no guarantees, but in my opinion, more than valid to think that the price could go back up to those highs, if not even higher than that. But at the core, very, very impressive last 30 minutes. So yes, is this the start of an even bigger move of momentum on Wednesday? Definitely grab that popcorn. Next one here, PLTR. Overall, not a great day, but like these other ones, that at least, again, think about that green line. The price isn't anywhere close to it. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that level here. And yes, it's unfortunate the price pulled back and then broke back down below that purple line there. That would have been a very impressive day had the price at least been able to maintain above that. So yeah, not totally as good as it could have been, but again, on the bright side of things, at least the price is still well above that 71.70 mark. And then in terms of areas of resistance, the first, well, I should say not the first, but the overarching level, definitely at this point, all about this area up here at that pink line. Not totally shocking. The pink line on my chart represents the 200 period moving average, acted as resistance a couple of times here. So if there is some sort of bigger move back upwards, right around the 86.20 mark is that key level. But in the very near term, before you really put any focus on the 200 period moving average, it's first now got to get back above that purple line there, the 50 period, currently valued at about 78.85. So like NVDA, not a great day, but all things considered, especially how some of these other stocks behave, it's hanging in there, and we'll see if the price can try to get another surge back up to that 200 period. Next one here, BTOG. Now we had ZVSA, which that last 30 minutes was looking very solid from the bull instruction. But this, last I was looking at it, it did not look like this. I was thinking, okay, we got a nice consolidation, but yikes. Last 30 minutes here has really changed the aspect of things. Like I said, last time when I was prepping which ones I want to do, I thought I was going to be sitting here talking about you had this nice little wedge, which way would it break? But yeah, since I looked, it's not only like kind of broken, but really broken to the downside. So really the new dynamic here moving into Wednesday is going to be, in my opinion at least, all about this area right here at the gap close of 13.5 cents. And the reason why that level is so important, I'm not saying it'll occur, but if the price were to come down to 13.5 and then break down below it, at that point, you would then be able to say, well, wow, the price has gone right back to where it started in this range of the chart. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but when price movements make really impressive moves, which that was, and then all of a sudden go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur, but that is why 13.5 cents, very, very important level to watch moving forward. If the price all of a sudden does recover back upwards, keep an eye on that pink line right there, 200 period moving average, right now valued at 0.213. But yeah, that last 30 minutes certainly did put a damper on things. Next one, LCID, and unfortunately, just not a good day at all. Not necessarily because it was red, but because the price had been doing a good job. It was working on starting to build and construct an overarching trend line right here, but that failed to deliver today as the price came down there. And at first, it did hold. I mean, a couple candles held right there, but finally the price not only broke below it, but now it's getting more separation. Now, that does not mean that this thing's headed back down to the lows down in that area, but yeah, as far as just like I said, the construction of what could have been a very attractive trend line, that has now all been wiped away, so we'll just go ahead and get rid of that level. As far as areas of resistance, nothing here has changed. In fact, if you watch yesterday's video, then this red line here should sound familiar, and that's right where the price eventually, not necessarily couldn't break above it, because the price could break above it, but in terms of maintaining and building more momentum, every time the price got up around that area, it was just like the momentum was zapped and went away. So keep an eye on that if the price does try to return back upward. Next very important level of support, though, and just one of those areas where if the price were to fall down below this area here at 216, then you start to make the arguments that the price has gone back to where it was, and as we've already discussed, not a sign of good things from the bullish perspective. But all in all, rough day today with that trend line break, but we'll see if the price can try to recover back upwards. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and unfortunately for this one, like some of these other ones, it did break the trend line. That purple line rejected it back down, and I'm going a little quicker through this because you've already heard me make these talking points before. So we'll get rid of that level. And this one also joined the club of coming down to that key area of support and then breaking below it. And you can see it, as I mentioned earlier, when levels of support are broken, they tend to act as resistance, and that's actually already played out here once now. You can see last 30 minutes, price tried to get up through there and didn't hit it exactly to the penny, but certainly got very close before getting rejected back down. So that doesn't mean that the price can never get up above that area, but it does make sense why the price is now struggling right there around the 223.70 mark. So keep an eye on that if there is any sort of attempted bounce in the near term. And then from the overarching standpoint, that key overarching level remains up there, that purple line there, which is the 50 period moving average. And then like I said on these other ones, okay, well, where's the next level of support? Just got to ask ourselves that question. Well, where did the bleeding stop last time? And the bleeding stopped last time on Monday on Tesla down around 214.25. So if the price were to go down to 214.25, then as you're seeing here, that would be putting the price down at lows that has not been seen in a very, very long time. So as of now, there's still a potential double bottom here if the price can come down there and bounce. But yeah, overall started off very nice, ended not so nice. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely get signed up for the free class. It'll be very soon, Thursday, April 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And then as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, as always, please hit that like button. And if you're looking for a very free and easy way to support the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, as it really does help out. So thanks for watching. Take care, and make sure you get signed up for the free class.